What's up, guys? My name is Rachel, and I'm the CEO of MindStrong Fitness, a multi-six-figure business, about to be seven-figure business that is purely online. I grew my business over 400% in under 8 months, and the purpose of this content is to teach you to do the exact same in much less time. So let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about what 98% of coaches out there are doing incorrectly. And the purpose of showing you what they're doing incorrectly is so that you can not only avoid the same pitfalls, but so that you can do it differently and experience massive, massive growth in your company. So if you're a coach of any kind right now, or if you're an aspiring coach, you know that 90% of this game is nutrition, right? Your clients can work out all day, every day with you, but if their nutrition is not in check, there's truth to the old adage that you can't outwork an old diet. Now, the catch 22 becomes the fact that nutrition is hands down the hardest part to get clients to stick with. And if you've coached before, you've experienced this, right? They're going to show up for their workouts because if you're coaching in person, they know you're going to be there kicking their butt. But when they get home and your eyes aren't on them, that's a different story. And one of the problems is that, the old school method is meal plans. It's I'll just eat what my coach says to eat and I just won't eat what my coach says I won't eat. And I'm here to tell you from the bottom of my soul, it's not going to work. If you study human psychology, there's something called reactance. And very simply put, it means as humans, we don't want to be told what to do or what not to do. So when we tell our clients, you can only eat this, you can't eat this is on your meal plan, this is not allowed, they might stick to it for a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 months if they're super dedicated. But if our ultimate goal is to truly create a lasting lifestyle for them, we need to get away from meal plans, right? They have lives, they have families, they have parties to go to, and meal plans, any kind of restriction is never going to be the answer. That's why we're such fans of macro tracking. That's what I teach within my own business, MindStrong Fitness. That's what we teach our clients. That's what I personally do. But here's the key with macro tracking, right? There are thousands upon thousands of macro coaches out there. And I mean it when I say that I would estimate about 98% of them are doing this incorrectly. And by incorrectly, I mean they're doing one of two things. Number one is they're using online calculators. We're going to do a whole episode dedicated to online macro calculators and why they are the worst thing that you can be using. So we're not going to deep dive into that, but understand that if you are a coach, you have no business writing macro plans if you're doing it by plugging your clients' numbers into a macro calculator. It is not going to work. You're going to do them more harm than good. The main problem we see, and this is the part where I say 98% are doing it incorrectly. There are certain formulas to use to figure out macro plans, right? There are hundreds of formulas out there. Some will argue that certain ones are better than others. We could have that conversation all day, every day. But for the purposes of this conversation, we know as coaches, and if you don't, you will learn this, that there are formulas you can use to figure out macro plans. And there's nothing wrong with these formulas. I use these formulas. We use them within our own business. The problem is this: these formulas are designed to pump out goal numbers. And I'm going to explain what that means a little bit deeper. But what I want you to understand is that what 98% of coaches out there is they're using this formula and they're handing the answers to their clients and saying, here you go, here's your macro plan. And it is never going to be sustainable. Just like those meal plans, just like shake systems, just like point systems. If you're just giving your clients the goal numbers from this macro formula, it is never going to stick. So let's talk about why. Right now, if you were to look at how your clients are typically eating, how they're averaging before they signed up to work for you. And by the way, within my company, MindStrong Fitness, what we do is before, I don't care what level people sign up with, if they're at our lowest level program, if they're paying one-on-one to work with me at our highest price point, they always start the same way. They track their food for 5 to 7 days. And the reason is the first thing we need to know is how is your client tending to eat? And here's why. Here's why I say those goal numbers are never going to work. Let's say that Susie Smith tracks her food for 5 to 7 days. And we see that on average, Susie's eating 60 grams of protein a day, right? Most people are walking around not getting enough protein. It tends to be the macronutrient of which they struggle with the most. So let's say Susie's eating 60 grams of protein a day. Now you go and you use this accurate macro formula. There's nothing wrong with the formula. But according to Susie's height, weight, and activity level, it says that she should be eating 120 grams of protein a day. There is no universe in which Susie is going from her 60 grams of protein a day to 120 grams of protein a day and sticking with it. This is the reason that if you talk to people about macros, most of them are going to sit there and say, oh yeah, I tried it. It was too hard, or I couldn't stick with it, or it didn't work for me. Of course not, because if you're trying to make massive jumps like that, it's never going to be sustainable. So in our company, we use something that we've deemed the bridge. We call it, if the way they're averaging is point A, and if the formula, the goal numbers are point C, we are huge believers in what we call point B being for bridge. And what that bridge means is that we're always going to start them closer to their average numbers. And we're going to explain to them, because I'm a big why person. I am never a do what I say or do exactly what I tell you to do kind of person. I want you to understand why. So we're going to tell them when we send our clients their macro plans, we tell them, listen, here were your averages, point A. Here are your goal numbers using the formula that we use, point C. Here's where we're starting. And it's in big, bold, highlighted, can't miss it. Go plug it into your tracking app right now. These are your starting numbers. And most importantly, why? Because we want to meet your body where it is. And we want to slowly work toward those goal numbers. When we do it this way, a few things happen. Number one, learning macro tracking is a brand new skill. If you're familiar with it, you know that. If you're new to it, we've got some resources to help you learn about it. But it's no different than learning to surf or learning to knit. It's a brand new skill, and any new skill is going to be frustrating as hell in the beginning. So if your clients are not only trying to learn a new skill, but also trying to make these massive leaps in how they eat, it's only a matter of time before they give up. So our plan is to make this as easy as possible to flow with how they're already eating, knowing that once they've got the skill locked in, it is super easy to start adjusting their macros. The second reason is because our bodies hate massive changes. That's mentally and physically. So the more we can meet them where they are and slowly work toward those goal numbers, the better our body's going to respond and the more sustainable it's going to be. So do not be like 98% of macro coaches out there. Number one, if you were using a macro calculator, stop. Just stop right now. We've got resources to help you, but you are doing not only your clients a disservice, but your business, right? Because our business is all about our reputation. And maybe you get 30 clients signed up, but when they see that what you're doing isn't working, right? If we buy a pair of headphones and they're a piece of crap, it's not just that we return the headphones. It's not, we're never buying that brand again. And this is what happens with your company's own brand. When you do something that isn't efficient, that doesn't work, that isn't effective, not only do your clients not get results, but then your brand gets tarnished. Then the word on the street is not only, it didn't work for me, it's don't sign up with these people because they're ineffective. Get away from macro calculators. They're not the answer. If you are using a formula, nothing wrong with that, but understand that those are goal numbers. They should not be starting place numbers. If you need help with how to get started with this, I'll link some resources in the comments, but understand that 98% of coaches out there are doing this incorrectly. When you learn the skill and you do it correctly, you will watch your business explode because it is few and far between in this industry.